I am so freaking excited to share with you our first finished Rad Pad in Costa Rica. So this one is on the side of a cliff at the Paradise Lodge, which is in Platanillo, right next to the Nayaca waterfall, which is the most visited waterfall in all of Costa Rica. Very close to Dominical, on your way to San Isidro. So this location is pretty rad, and what we wanted to do when we first met Paradise Lodge, Fritz, one of the owners, actually flew out to Nicaragua to see what we were doing there at a beach development, fell in love with the product, and then we showed up in Costa Rica to build this. So first of all, this Rad Pad's location is gnarly and not one tree got chopped down to build this Rad Pad. First of all, it's on 18-inch pillars. They're 2 meters long. They've got 1 square meter of concrete with rebar underneath them. Super, super duper strong. Now this Rad Pad is the short-term rental unit. It's 3 meters by 5 meters. It's got a bathroom and a bedroom. Outside, we've done an add-on, this deck, because it was in such a gnarly location, you needed an entrance. So this material that we're using, well, first of all, it's 3x3 galvanized heavy gauge steel. That's what we use for everything in the Rad Pad. Underneath is 1x2 galvanized heavy gauge steel. It's painted with a water-based anti-corrosive paint, special for galvanized steel. Now, this product is a plastic decking board. It's amazing. It just clips into place onto the Rad Pad frame, and it actually has a space in between it where the water goes down. So on this one, we added a rail to make it safe. The paneling that we used is also the same as the floor, just a different variation of that product. So first of all, how a Rad Pad's made, or what it's made of, and why that's valuable to you, is that it's 3x3 galvanized steel, readily available. So it's made of these E's. We call it an Easy E. First of all, we have the AccuCutter that cuts all the pieces to the exact same length that we need, to the millimeter. And then we put it on a jig, and the jig basically makes this E. Then we weld them in place, and the E clips into the next E, and it goes the next one, and the next one, and the next one, all the way around the Rad Pad. Now, why this is valuable to you is because it's freaking fast. We can build a Rad Pad like bam, 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 we're done, thank you very much. Now, another big advantage is because each one of these cubes that are inside of the E on the Rad Pad walls are exactly the same size to the 1 millimeter. I know our builder gets mad if it's 1 millimeter off. And what's cool is he doesn't get mad at someone. He gets, well, I gotta go work on the jig. And then he tweaks the jig so that it makes them perfectly. So inside each one of these 4 cubes are exactly the same, whatever you put in them. Now the bottom ones, we've put in the plastic board panel, but these are tongue and groove, so the water can hit the wall and go down. They're basically indestructible. They're also amazing because they have a 1-inch hole that runs through them that almost works as insulation. It's amazing. The heat transfer from one side to the inside is like virtually nil. Now, we've used mirrors up top as well because they also help deflect the heat. It's amazing. Not only do they look beautiful in the jungle when you're walking up to it. Now this one, we wanted to keep the tree because Paradise Lodge cares a lot about trees and they didn't want to cut any trees down. So we said, all right, we can keep it. And in order to keep it, we actually had to cut little areas for it to fit. It's the only round thing that we do in Rad Pad. Now these lights are low wattage LED lights. They're last forever lights outside. They're plastic, so they'll last forever and ever. We got coat hangers on the outside so you can put your rain jacket or whatever outside. Wow, beautiful. This is Paradise Lodge, so they got their the welcoming mat right there for you. Now on the inside, we use the flooring again. It's the same flooring that we used on the wall panel, so it's tongue and groove. Amazing product. Absolutely, I can't say enough good stuff about this product. I'm absolutely in love with it. It's so good for a rental unit. There's no sanding, there's no termites, there's no mold, there's no maintenance. It's one time, set it up, forget about it, it's done. Super easy to mop, clean, vacuum, sweep, whatever you want. Now this feature wall is just like boom, right? So maximum airflow in a Rad Pad is super important, so that's why we use the slat windows whenever possible. Now they do have bug screens on every single window, don't worry, there's no bugs, but we want maximum airflow because airflow and shade is amazing. So I'm going to talk to you a bit about how shade, drainage, and airflow work in Rad Pad. So the ceiling is different than the roof. So the ceiling is flat, and it's got a PVC top on it above the 3x3 roof trusses, and then it's got this metal on top of that. So it's sealed with a PVC, and then it's got a metal on top. And this is the flat ceiling that I'm talking about. Now this metal that we use is amazing. It's from Ferromax. It's a heat painted, coated top and bottom. It's not like the metal roofs that you've seen anywhere else around, I'm pretty sure. We found this stuff in Nicaragua and we started using it, and it's just mind-blowingly different. So you can see how the ceiling is flat, and it's part of the cube, and it's got, there you see on the edge there, it's got the metal top and a PVC underneath that. Well, the roof, which is above the ceiling, now that is on an angle and it has airflow. So normally we'd close that off and we'd stuff it full of insulation and try and fight the heat. But we realized by not closing it off, what happens is the heat from the sun hits the top of that metal roof, and it actually it blows heat out the top and sucks colder air in from the bottom, and it just starts this like air movement, and that air movement keeps the heat off of the ceiling of the Rad Pad. So the Rad Pad is actually cool the whole time that the roof is super hot. It's amazing. It blew my mind the first time we did it. I have a long, elaborate story I could tell you about that, but I'm not going to now. Just right now, it works amazing. It gives shade to the building, so shade, airflow, because it's on an angle. Even when there's not wind, when there's heat, it starts to suck the heat out. And then drainage. Drainage is super important in Central America. So you want the rain away from the Rad Pad. So on this Rad Pad, we went 1 meter overhang in every direction. You can go 2 meter overhang in every direction, no problem, on our special roof system. So that's one of the most important parts, is keeping the Rad Pad cool from the top. Next thing that's really important in a Rad Pad, especially when it's a rental unit, is cleaning. I've found staff or contract workers, if it's easy to do, they do it. If it's hard to do, they don't do it. And it's like a grading schedule. You'll see it in the beginning, everybody does it, and then eventually nobody does it. So one of the reasons we built these bedside tables, they're amazing. They're 1 inch by 2 inch galvanized steel. They've got the same plastic boarding on top, indestructible. Now this has no legs down for 2 reasons. If we look underneath it, you'll see it's actually welded to the frame. You can freaking stand on this thing and it's not breaking. It is super duper strong. It works, it has multi-purposes, but the first reason not to have legs is for sweeping. When you sweep the floor, very rare, I mean, in the beginning when you get your property management, you know, they'll lift up the table and they'll clean, but eventually they'll just kind of move it around and it'll start to get dirty. So why not eliminate the problem? The second reason is that legs make it so you can't see down. Now this works as a desk, and when you're sitting at a desk and you look down between your legs and you see the jungle 3 meters, 4 meters below you, it's an amazing experience. So bedside tables off the ground, that's pretty important when all there is a bedroom. It plays a role into this other section, but first let's talk about the bed. Now the bed is 0 wood. So there's no wood, it's not gonna squeak. Wood expands and contracts over time, bugs like it. Lots of reason that wood beds are not as rad as they could be. So this is 3x3, galvanized steel welded to the freaking frame of the Rad Pad. It's got 1x2s across, 2 stringers. It's the strongest bed I've ever seen. But do you see how underneath you can sweep easily? It even has under bed LED lights on a little remote, so you can like have a red light when you walk to the bathroom, or blue light, whatever color you like. So again, for cleaning, the bed only having 2 posts down is a big thing. And then the bedside table, both sides are exactly the same. So nobody has to argue. They work perfect as desks. You can sit right on the bed. Your legs go under there. No post to hit your legs. And we actually put a mirror on this one. So when you're on this one, it looks like you're looking into the jungle, not into the wall. Super strong. You can climb on it. Let's talk about the lights here. The lights are pretty amazing. In a Rad Pad, like lights are vibe. Lights are key. In the recording industry, building studios, studios, we say vibe is key. That's why we spend so much on lights and the vibe of the studio. So the hammocks are pretty amazing. Two people can actually sit on the hammocks or lay in the hammocks and work comfortably. There's a lot of advantages to having hammocks that can be taken down and put up super easy. So over the bed, you just climb on the bed and you hop in this hammock. It's unbelievably amazing, so rad. Now the windows all the way around, airflow. Talk about connecting to nature. You know when the winds change. And then at night, when the monkeys are over there and then they go over there and these different birds start chirping and different crickets and stuff, you get into the rhythm of nature, and that's what it's really all about, is disconnecting to reconnect. That's, you know, it's amazing to be in a rad pad in the jungle or in the beach or wherever it is you're traveling to. Now this again is a custom thing. Things in Central America, it's hard to get stuff. It's hard to get rad bedside table lights. So what we did was we made custom ones that'll last forever. This super sweet vintage switches. We used them everywhere. I love them. The plugs, high quality, all inside the 3x3. It's unbreakable swinging lights, and it doesn't get hot because it's LED. It's just a beautiful light, workspace, charger, airflow, everything, seat, everything. It's all there. You don't need more. It's so nice to stay in a rad pad. This is one of my favorite designs. So this is an LB. This is like a industrial electrical part that you would use. And we turned it into a light, and it's just sweet. And that's what you want in Airbnb stuff. You just want something that's like, bam, that's rad, you know, so that people say, that's rad. And that's how you can really get the algorithm of Airbnb and Booking.com to help you rent it out. And that's what this unit is for. So this shelving unit is really designed for rad pads and the experience, right? So one of the biggest, you know, in Central America, you drink a lot of water, so you need water. So one option you could do is put plastic bottles in there, but that sucks, right? You're gonna run out of plastic bottle and you're gonna need more, and there's garbage and blah, blah, blah. So we built a tiny little shelf, still welded, rock solid, gonna last forever. And now we've got like a porcelain water filter where you can just fill it from the sink and get that beautiful Costa Rican jungle water to drink, and you never run out. You just take from the sink and you just keep filling it up, as much water as you want. Abundancy, right? You're in the jungle, you're in abundance. Now this shelving area, you've got your coffee set up right there. Super high quality. It's welded to the freaking walls. Again, never gonna break. The coffee cup holders are pretty cool. So these are little clips that hold conduits to the wall when you're building industrially. And it's this bracket that's super strong, and it's just super rad. It ties into the Edison vibe and the hipster thing that we used because of the galvanized steel, which is down here. This is galvanized steel, 1/2-inch pipe. It's so strong, it's there, and it's basically you're a hanger, you know, so you'll have a couple hangers there and be able to put your clothes there, like a nice shirt like this one or something that you want to keep nice, ready for like a dinner or whatever. Now going over to the hammock, there's, oh my gosh, there's 2 hammocks. So of course, there's 2 of everything in the rad pad, so nobody ever has to be jealous of the other, if you will. Back to the walls. The walls are freaking amazing. So when the windows are outsourced, super easy, choose whatever window. They love us because we say, we'll take 37 of the exact same window, and they're like, wow, that's great. So now this, the plastic panel, we weld a 1x2 up it, and that's how the clips actually attach, so the boards go on. But one of the speed things is that all the boards cut are exactly the same to the millimeter. So we're cutting hundreds of them, and they just clip, 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 and the walls go up so fast, it's insane. All the windows go up in one day, you know? So that's how the rad pad is built so quickly. And why it's so inexpensive or cost effective is because it's all locally readily available materials. Although we do use high quality, the best that we can find, like these switches, those are not your average switches. Those are your badass switches, but they're readily available. So if they do break, we can get more. But the likelihood of these things breaking is so low. That's why we went for the best, because they're all inside the 3x3. The 3x3 of the frame is actually the conduit, where we use really high-end wire inside there, but that's where all the wires and the guts are in, and below the rad pad are where the electrical boxes are. So the switches are not gonna get water in them. No, termites are not gonna get in them. There's no wood for them to eat. It's just it's really enables us to use high quality premium products. Now in the bathroom we use a slider because it makes the most sense, it's the most effective. But the slider door on the main entrance is not a normal thing that we would normally do, but the tree. We wanted to keep the tree, and to have an outside fit and hit the tree, we'd probably dent the tree, you know, and it wouldn't be very nice to the tree. And inside it would hit the bed. Eventually, it would work, but it wasn't that rad. So we went for the slider door there. Not normal, but really cool to have mirrors all around because you see the jungle and you really feel like immersed. Again, the switches are freaking badass, excuse me. They are badass though. So this is a huge light switch. That's where you turn the lights on for the bathroom. Now the bathroom, we use the same vibe, but we kind of use different Edison, you know, hipster vibes, the bedside versus the coffee area, or in the bathroom. Back to electrical outlets. So we've got an extra one here in case the hotel wants to add a chair or something there. There's a place to charge your phone. This is pretty unique to this location. So this is a switch. We call it the Panther switch. Outside underneath, there's these green floodlights, and you hit that and it lights up the jungle at night in a green light. So you don't see it from far distance, but being close to it, you see everything glow green, and it's amazing. It's super rad. So let's check out the bathroom. Basically, we've got a pedestal sink, totally readily available. It hides all of the plumbing, and the plumbing goes straight down to the bottom, which is super convenient. All the plumbing and hookup is underneath. The shower it's so rad. It's what brought in the hipster vibe, because it's challenging to find a shower that you can retrofit to a Rad Pad in Central America. So we said, let's use galvanized steel and do what we used to do in the wine business. And we used galvanized steel, put a big rain head up on top, and then we used a 1/2-inch ball valve. It's a stainless steel ball valve we use in the wine tanks all the time. Lasts forever, super easy to open and close, and it's rad. So when you turn the shower on, you got a ton of water. It's gravity fed from a tank that's not too far away, but the hot water heater is super rad. So in rentals, a lot of people are afraid of what's called a suicide shower head. I didn't name that, but that's what I've heard it's called by foreigners. It's when you have a hot water heater above your head and an electrical wire to it, and it makes you feel a little worried. So what we did was we separated the hot water heater. You hit the button, 1 goes to a certain temperature, it tells you. Hit it to 2, it goes to a little higher temperature, all the way up to 7. Very simple to operate. And then when you shut off the water, the hot water heater just shuts off. There's really nothing to do. In the shower, we've retrofitted it with, well, 2 things. It's got double layer plastic boards. So on the outside into the living room, you'll see it like that. And on the inside, it's double layered. And what that does is the water hits that and it drains down with the tongue and groove plastic boards that we kind of spoke about earlier. Now, the drainage and the flooring is amazing. But before, I'm going to show you a mirror and a light. This mirror, it's mounted on galvanized steel, 1/2-inch, welded to the 3x3. So it's super duper strong. It's gonna last forever because it's a rental unit. People are gonna yank on it, and we wanna have a strong one. So you can now pivot the mirror for different height people super easy. Now this light is super bright. So this is the brightest light that we've ever seen. And that's so when you want to kill the vibe and shave or do your makeup, you can turn it on. I've done that so I can show you the drain. So down on the flooring of the shower, it's actually the same product. So it's the tongue and groove plastic boards, but we've actually angled the metal frame underneath it. We built a special little framed area that has drainage of 1 inch over a meter. The shower is a square meter. So if you have a look here, you can see over here it's 1 inch, and over here it's 0. So it gives a nice drain. Also, the grains of the plastic wood are going sideways, so it's not slippery. So you don't need a pad down there, which is rad. And then a super rad drain because it kind of looks like a brewery tap thing. Now, when you're in the shower, it's freaking amazing because you've got screened windows with maximum airflow. They're super easy to pop off and clean the windows if you want. It's just like you're in the jungle. Now for these shelves, this is tempered glass, super safe, and it just screws and clips in there, and it's so strong, but it's off the wall so the water doesn't pool. Now we got 3/4 inch galvanized steel curtain rod, so it's super strong again, I don't know if you've ever had a shower curtain fall and hit your foot, but it really sucks. So in a Rad Pad, it's rad. The curtain on it is high quality, and it's got some metal rollers. It works perfectly. It keeps the water in the shower. It doesn't really get that wet on the outside. We've used that same shelving there again. Now the hand towel rack, I mean, like, you may not think about it, but when they break, you got to get a new one, and you got to get a guy to get it in there, and blah, blah, blah. So we make them super strong. Now that's where the hangers actually go. That's where you put your hanger so you can put your clothes on there. All part of the, Rad experience, where you put your suitcase, your clothes, all that there. One bed, it's a overnight experience here, short-term rental. Frosted glass is pretty rad as a divider between the bathroom, is because the Edison bulbs that we used, same kind of thing as everywhere else, but just a big, massive one. And what it does is it puts like this orange glow at night when you shut the door. You've got this orange glow into the bedroom, and it's very soft and really, really nice. So back to the hand towel rack, super strong. Galvanized steel, welded to the 3x3. In there again, you have your electricals. So it's all ran from the bottom up to the top in a 3x3, high quality wires. Again, you've got the super rad switches. The towel rack, so strong, it's amazing. I hate a bad towel rack that's only 2 inches from the wall and you gotta stuff the towel in. This one, just flop it in there. It fits 2 towels perfectly. You can also use it to get up off of the toilet if you need. Standard toilet, the reason we use a standard toilet is because you have fluctuating parts per million of calcium, and water pressure is different. So the fancy toilets are made for North America, where all of that's regulated, where these toilets will last forever, never break, keep your cash flow flowing. You don't want to replace or fix toilets. You never want to get called in the middle of the night saying the toilet's broken. So that's why we use that toilet. They all come with a ceiling fan with a light on it. So that's kind of like the emergency light to me. It's like, all right, where's the light? There's light. Maybe when a guest is checking in so they can see the room very well. Other than that, you're going to want to use, everything else. You can add air conditioning to this unit if you want. If you're going to do that, there's some options on different windows, slight variation or combination even of different windows to retain the maximum amount of cold air within the Rad Pad. If you choose to do air conditioning, but I have no need for that. That is the Rad Pad short-term rental unit. It goes for $35,000 USD. It's built in 90 days or less. Quite often we can build several in the same location in 90 days. We're in southern Costa Rica right now. If you'd like to check this one out, rent it, go for it, test it out. Airbnb, Paradise Lodge in Platanillo, which is very close to Dominical. Thank you for watching, and buy a Rad Pad today. Get started with some passive income.